Capua is drowning in blood, politics, and betrayal, and the House of Ashur Season 1 finale doesn't just end the story, it flips Roman history on its head. One senator is dead, another power-hungry monster takes his place, the arena crowns a new legend, and by the final moments, a single sword strike changes everything we thought we knew about Rome itself. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master, and today we're breaking down Spartacus, House of Ashur, Season 1, Episode 10, explaining the brutal ending, the shocking death that rewrites history, and what all of this means for Ashur's future. Trust me, this finale isn't just explosive, it's dangerous. Fall of Gabinius. The episode opens in mourning, but grief in Capua is never pure. Senator Gabinius is dead, murdered under mysterious circumstances, and the city reacts with performative sorrow rather than genuine loss. Publicly, the blame falls on Pompey, who has conveniently fled, while the truth about what happened inside Ashur's house remains buried. This secrecy benefits nearly everyone involved, especially those skilled at political manipulation. Julius Caesar immediately moves to control the narrative, claiming he has already spoken to Crassus and that efforts are underway to have Pompey removed from the Senate. His apology to Cassidia feels hollow, especially considering that he and Cornelia were instrumental in Pompey's escape. Caesar plays both sides effortlessly, maintaining the image of a concerned statesman while quietly ensuring that chaos works in his favor. With Gabinius gone, a far more dangerous presence arrives in Capua. Servius, Gabinius's brother, returns to claim his place as the new patriarch of the family. From the moment he steps into the villa, it becomes clear that Servius is not driven by grief, but by hunger for control. He wastes no time asserting dominance over Cassidia and Viridia, treating them less like family and more like possessions. His contempt for Ashur is immediate and deeply rooted in xenophobia. As a Syrian, Ashur represents everything Servius despises about outsiders rising in Roman society. Forcing Ashur to mourn from the rear entrance among commoners is not just an insult, it's a declaration of war disguised as tradition. Servius's behavior quickly escalates from cruel to outright predatory. His decision to enter the private bathing pool with Cassidia and Viridia strips away any ambiguity about his intentions. He openly declares himself master of the house and implies that the women now belong to him. This moment is one of the most unsettling in the season, not because of violence, but because of how casually Servius abuses his power. He represents the worst of Roman aristocracy, a man who believes lineage entitles him to bodies, loyalty, and silence. By the end of the episode, it's clear that Servius is being positioned as a major antagonist moving forward, especially for Viridia, whose quiet suffering hints at future rebellion. The gladiators prepare for blood and glory. As politics rot the villa from within, the sands of the arena prepare to soak up blood. Servius announces gladiatorial games in Gabinius's honor, a traditional spectacle meant to glorify the dead while entertaining the living. For Ashur, this is more than ceremony. It's a chance to reclaim pride after his house's humiliating defeat in the previous games. All eyes fall on Achilia, still the most feared and celebrated gladiator in Capua. Achillia's training reveals how much the internal dynamics of Ashur's ludus have shifted. Chorus continues to train her, but Tarchon, once openly hostile, now begins offering genuine tactical advice. He pushes her to use both ends of her spear and integrate her shield more aggressively, transforming her style into something even deadlier. This shift is important because it mirrors Tarchon's own internal evolution. His arrogance has softened, replaced by reflection and a growing understanding of his father's intentions. Ashur's decision to give Achilia a private room is small but significant. It's recognition, respect, and reward, all rolled into one. He understands that champions are not just tools, they are symbols, and Achilia is the symbol upon which his house stands. Over at Proculus's ludus, the mood is far more volatile. Satyrus, the last surviving Ferox brother, is consumed by rage. He blames the house of Ashur for the deaths of his brothers and wants nothing more than revenge. Proculus, however, sees the danger in unchecked fury. He pairs Satyrus with a new fighter, Galatea, another female gladiator brought in to capitalize on the crowd's growing fascination with women warriors. The partnership is tense and unstable, a mix of resentment and necessity. Meanwhile, the Scythian trains alone, isolated and confident. She doesn't need partners or encouragement. Her strength speaks for itself, and her presence looms over the upcoming games like a storm waiting to break. Hilara and Messia's painful separation. Away from politics and bloodshed, the emotional heart of the episode lies with Hilara and Messia. Their relationship has always been complicated, shaped by unspoken feelings, rejection, and misplaced hope. Hilara believed that Ashur loved her, that one day she would be more than a mistress. Messia, after being turned away, hardened herself and aligned with Cornelia, becoming part of Caesar's inner circle. The revelation that Hilara played a role, however indirectly, in the conspiracy that led to Gabinius' death shattered what little stability remained between them. Messia is horrified, not just by the danger, but by how deeply Hilara has entangled herself in Ashur's schemes. Her decision to leave Capua with Cornelia is an act of self-preservation, but also an emotional wound for both women. Their farewell is heavy with unresolved feelings and unspoken regrets. Despite the separation, the door is far from closed. Messia's proximity to Roman power makes her a potential asset, perhaps even a secret informant in the future. Love, in Spartacus, rarely dies cleanly. It transforms, waits, and returns when least expected. Achilia versus the Scythian. The day of the games arrives, and with it, Servius' final insult. He announces that Ashur's house will not participate in most of the matches, declaring the Syrian unworthy of standing alongside Roman Laniste. Only the main event is allowed, and even that concession is made reluctantly, purely because of Achillia's immense popularity. The early fights are brutal, but secondary. Tarchon and Galatea fight with raw aggression, while Calpurnius's Taurus is quickly dispatched. These matches serve as reminders of the cruelty of the arena, but everyone knows the real spectacle is still to come. When Achilia faces the Scythian, the atmosphere changes. This is not just a fight between two warriors, but between two philosophies. The Scythian fights with cold precision, unburdened by emotional ties. Achilia, however, carries grief, rage, and love into the arena. The memory of Celadus fuels her, sharpening every strike. The battle is intense and evenly matched, but emotion becomes Achillia's advantage. In a brutal and unforgettable finish, she slams her shield into the Scythian's mouth, killing her and silencing one of Capua's most feared fighters. The crowd erupts, and the house of Ashur arises again, drenched in blood and glory. Tarchon's redemption and a complicated union. Achillia's victory marks a turning point not just for the Ludus, but for Tarchon. Throughout the episode, he reflects on his relationship with his father, Celadus. Conversations with Hilada force him to confront uncomfortable truths, and instead of lashing out, he listens. This restraint signals genuine growth. After the fight, Chorus acknowledges Tarchon's change, stating that Celadus would have been proud of both him and Achilia. The tension between Achilia and Tarchon finally breaks, giving way to honesty. Tarchon admits his jealousy, his resentment, and his fear of being overshadowed. What follows is unexpected but deeply human. Their physical connection is messy, emotional, and rooted in shared loss. Whether this moment leads to anything lasting is uncertain. Both characters have different futures in mind: freedom for Achilia and stability for Tarchon with Hilada. Still, the encounter represents closure, a final echo of Celadus' influence binding them together before they move on.
Ashur and Viridia's forbidden moment. One of the most tragic threads of the finale is the quiet romance between Ashur and Viridia. Their kiss is tender, restrained, and heavy with impossibility. With Servius now in control, any relationship between them is doomed before it can begin. Viridia understands this, which makes her farewell all the more painful. Watching Ashur celebrate Achillia's victory with Hilara only deepens her sorrow. Worse still, the truth about Ashur's role in her father's death looms over the future. When that truth emerges, it may shatter whatever feelings remain, or it may be used by enemies to destroy Ashur from within. Julius Caesar's shocking death. The episode's final act delivers the most shocking twist of the season. Ashur confronts Julius Caesar about Crassus's promise to rebuild the arena and grant him control over the games. Caesar's response is devastating. The promise was never real. Crassus has chosen profit over spectacle, villas over arenas. In that moment, Ashur realizes he has been used. Gabinius's death, Pompey's exposure, all of it served Roman ambition, not his own. For once, Ashur does not swallow his rage. The confrontation turns violent, and in an act that rewrites history, Ashur kills Julius Caesar. This single moment changes everything. Ashur is no longer just a manipulator surviving Roman politics. He is now a man who has slain one of Rome's greatest figures. The consequences will be enormous. The Senate will hunt him, Capua will burn with rumors, and Ashur may be forced into the shadows. Yet, even in exile, his influence remains. Season 1 ends not with triumph, but with transformation. Ashur has crossed a line that cannot be undone, and in doing so, he has finally become powerful enough to threaten Rome itself. Our nerdy thoughts, and that's where Spartacus, House of Ashur Season 1 leaves us, with Capua shaken, Rome bleeding, and Ashur standing at the center of a storm he can no longer control. Julius Caesar is dead. Servius now rules through fear. Achilia has reclaimed glory in the arena, and every alliance we thought was stable is now hanging by a thread. The real question isn't whether Ashur will survive what comes next, but how far he's willing to go now that he's crossed the ultimate line. If Season 1 was about survival, Season 2 is shaping up to be about consequences. If you enjoyed this full breakdown and ending explained, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what you think happens next. Does Ashur go into hiding? Does Rome come for blood? And can Capua ever return to order after this? Until the next deep dive, this is your nerdy show, and I'll see you in the next one.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.